Today in the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, I got a host, a gentleman that I was able to meet through social media. I check out his podcast. I got Mr. Dre from Wheels of Steel, Mr. Dre from the 1130 podcast. What's going on, my brother? And from Washington, D.C. Let me get that straight.
Yeah. What's going on, my guy? What's going on with you, man? I appreciate you having me on your platform, man.
Yeah.
Yo, you definitely right. I definitely been checking you out and vibing with your content, the Chokeslam Report podcast, and I definitely dig it, man. Everything you got going on, and I've been blessed since I've been podcasting for going on, 2 years now, and just connect with dope people, man, such as yourself. So I'm excited. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I think this is May will make the 3 years that I've been doing this, and I met a lot of other podcasters. The Dirty Heels. I met up with them at a House of Glory show up here in New York. So I'm definitely going to be in their show coming up. I believe it's February 5th. I'm going to be in their show. I connected with other podcasters. I got my man from UK, the WNR podcast, Mr. James Rollins. I hit him up. We haven't done something in a long time, but I usually do most of my podcast interviews with my boy Jay Santa from the Turnbuckle Tabloid. So it's great connecting with you, man, because I remember I found you, I believe it was online. I think you had your own fan page, and I asked to join in, and you was kind enough to let me in your fan page. And now, look at us now, almost a year, 2 years later. I checked out your show. And I mean, your knowledge in the wrestling business is ridiculous. But welcome, man. I'm like very excited to have you, man. What's going on? But anyway, so what are your thoughts? I know you're a big WWE fan. I saw your podcast yesterday, and what are your thoughts with this Royal Rumble and its supposedly Forbidden Door?
Okay.
Give me your thoughts on that.
Okay, my thoughts on that though. I kick it with the guys over with my guy Blackheart and Warren Marlowe every week with Off the Top Ropes. I mean, with the commission talks over the top ropes, and
also y'all part of the commission.
Buzzing with Marlowe. Yeah. We chop it up and do some things. And I was saying on that podcast also, along with mines, the Forbidden Door, I see it being slightly open when they announced. On I think it was a couple of Fridays ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, when they announced the participants for the SmackDown or the Women's Royal Rumble match, and I was like, very interesting though. But Mickie James, definitely stood out, being the Knockouts Women's Champion, going to be competing in this year's 2022 Royal Rumble, and I was like, wow, man, Moose. Obviously, him, challenging Roman Reigns, which would be nice, if he pop up in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, Cody Rhodes talking about he's a free agency, just a whole lot of speculations out there, with this, Forbidden Door, and with, WWE being, I grew up on WWF or, E or whatever. And, obviously we seen slightly something, like this with the whole invasion, but that was, that. But I mean, it would be fun as a wrestling fan seeing, different wrestlers from other wrestling promotions, come together, especially, guys from, WWE, because you really don't see that though. So, I mean, like, I don't, like my guy Blackheart said, he kind of like, threw me out of the bus with it slightly though. He was like, man, ain't no Forbidden Door going to be open. I'm wait to next Saturday to see when the Royal Rumble come about to see who's going to be in it, because I kind of like, with all the releases, and it's gonna be some surprise picks, or entrants.
Well, and I mean, I kind of agree with your guy for Off the Ropes, because I just think, this is just my opinion on it. I think they just announced that, really, because if you look in the last couple of months, I don't know if you follow Impact, but Impact Wrestling, ever since Bound for Glory, they kind of fell off. They kind of gave the middle finger to AEW, like, oh, screw you, we don't need you, whatever, because now they're working with New Japan. The Mickie James situation, and I know people went crazy online, and they were like, oh, suppose CM Punk comes out, Moxley, and it's cool to fantasy book, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because if WWE was that type of promotion, I'd be like, okay, we'll leave anybody coming, like New Japan lets anybody come in, If they were that kind of people, then I'm like, okay, that could be possibility. Now that Cody Rhodes is a free agent, he could just show up with the TNT belt and show up, whatever the case may be. But being that Impact kind of fell off to me after Bound for Glory, and now probably a couple of days before they had Hard to Kill pay-per-view, they announced that Mickie James is showing up. So now, where I look at it was, okay, look, we just announced Mickie James is coming to WWE for the Royal Rumble, and she's showing up with the belt. That's going to turn eyes to the product or Hard to Kill, for that, because it was the day before the pay-per-view. Now, I don't know how well did the pay-per-view did. A lot of fans were saying that they're probably going to get a lot of viewers and they're going to surpass when they were working with AEW. I haven't seen the numbers yet, but they did do the smart thing, which was bring in Ring of Honor guys. Now, if Mickie James, if this is supposedly a forbidden door, and let's say next Saturday you see guys from Ring of Honor show up there, right? And you're gonna be like, oh wow, look, Dalton Castle showed up, or Dak Draper. These guys who no longer got contract. Again, what people fail to realize is they're not under contract with anybody. Mickie James is not under contract with Impact. She's on a shake hand deal. So that's the part that I'm kind of like, I don't think it's a forbidden door, because if it would have been a forbidden door, that means somebody is under contract with a company. You know what I'm saying? I think they did that also, one, to help Impact with the Hard to Kill pay-per-view. Two, the amount of people they have let go. You know what I'm saying? And the females, I mean, you watch NXT and you watch 2.0. I haven't watched NXT since they turned 2.0. But the majority of the females they have there, they're not ready for the big time. You know what I'm saying? And even then, 2 years ago, before the pandemic hit, there were certain girls that went to NXT from NXT that came in the Royal Rumble, and they treated them like garbage. You know what I'm saying? What?
So right about that.
And the Mickie James situation, I think they're trying to do it for nostalgia, because I mean they're bringing all these girls there. I think they're bringing Lita, they're bringing Trish Stratus. I think they're bringing Trish Stratus and Kevin Kelly. I could be wrong. Am I wrong on that?
No, so, I don't think you're wrong in that. I think they're going to probably say Trish Stratus probably for like the final entrant. They made a Lita public, and saying that she got one more run or whatever like that. But you're totally right. You're totally right with the Hard to Kill pay-per-view. Once they announced that on SmackDown, I was like, I'm going to tune in. And what another thing that made me tune in too, former WWE commentary Tom Phillips, was now part of the team. And I dig Impact. I just couldn't, really get with Matt Striker. I just didn't.
Matt Striker. Matt Striker is the worst commentator there is. He got a lot of knowledge of the business.
He do. He really do.
But he always tries to make himself like he's that intelligent. Yes. Am I wrong on that? Because I know my man James Rowland from the UK. He used to tell me, like, I'm tired of Matt Striker. He's trying to make himself look like he's the smarter guy, and he used to bore me to death. But I'm like, dude, just shut up. Just commentate on the match. It's not about you and your interest and how good you are in the business. But now there was another thing that I saw, and followed probably Bobby Lashley even when he was first came, I think 2006, and then he left, he went to Impact, came back. There was an interview that happened, I think it was last week, where Brock Lesnar told him, Lashley told him, I've been after you for 20 years, right? Now, I don't know if Lashley's been even around that long in WWE area. He said, I've been after you for 20 years. And then he said, and then Brock told him, I didn't even know who you are. Did you think that they kind of killed Bobby Lashley on that? Like letting you know that he's not beating Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble?
That's a really good question, though. That's a really good question. I sort of, a little bit in me felt like that when Brock said that. A little bit in me said that. And, it reminded me also back when Booker T came in to WCW and The Rock said, who are you? And that reminded me of that.
Yes.
But I mean, like, Bobby came in like 05-ish, 06, really like that. And, Brock Lesnar was there in 2002. Obviously, they know one another. Yeah. But, as far as the story goes, I dig it. I definitely dig it. The promo couldn't have been any other better. It was only one big promo that they had so far that took place on Monday Night Raw. And for him to be calling him a Bobby Lashley wannabe, and obviously, this has been the match that Bobby been wanting for the longest. So I don't necessarily thought it did anything, but yeah, I do get what you coming. I do get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like where it's going though.
Yeah. I mean, I think they would have been better off if they would not use that part. That part, like, oh, I didn't know you, and then the knock joke. I think that they could have not. They didn't have to put that part because they kind of made. That's just my opinion. I feel like once they said that to him, like, who, I didn't know who you were. It did remind me of The Rock and Booker T. That was the first thing that came into my head when I saw that, and I was like, did you just kill his momentum to, probably have them go at it? Because WWE does that. They'll have like one little session when they'll go at it, and either the babyface takes advantage of it before, either the week before the pay-per-view, or the heel does it. And by them doing that, I think they killed it, because then they made Brock Lesnar look like unbeatable once they said that.
You're right at that point though. But before, for the casual viewer, that definitely killed it. Before anybody who's been, tuning in and been watching it or whatever like that, everybody been wanting this match, even if you wasn't a fan of Bobby Lashley. So it's like, even though he said that, my man Bobby Lashley is either, it's only a couple of things, that's going to happen with this match. And like I said on the podcast, so many things so many factors play in it, with Paul Heyman now back with Brock, and then you got MVP. And also after all that, went down between Brock and Bobby on Raw, the Hurt Business try to insert themselves out, and try to, get some more attention from them. So it can go so many ways and, play out all the way to WrestleMania. But hey, I like it. I like it.
I mean, I think I think they should have done this for WrestleMania instead of Royal Rumble. I think it will have a big fight feel. Yes. I think they are just me. I think they're a little bit too late and whatnot. I think they should have done this probably. But then again, last year there was no fans, so maybe it's going to be interesting. I think that's the reason. One of the reasons I want to watch the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble has always been my favorite because of the Rumble itself. So they always bring somebody nostalgia, Diesel or whatever and whatnot. Yeah. But so what are your thoughts about this Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns? I like their promo. I love what Roman Reigns told Seth Rollins. He was like something to the effect that your wife is the main event. Something like that, and then he said the Shield thing is way over. He's past that. I think last night, I didn't watch SmackDown yet, but I heard last night that Jon Moxley was mentioned by Seth Rollins last night. Is that true?
Yes. During the promo, he was like, he said something to, the fact that, we all grown up, and everybody seems to be doing, fine and doing well. And he mentioned, Moxley and stuff. He just said Moxley. But yeah, the whole, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns thing, I've been waiting for this for a while. I think they haven't crossed paths, since, the last time, they fought years and years ago, and which is great, keep them, far apart. And Roman Reigns is, like I said, he's in God mode. I'm loving what Seth is doing. Becky is okay. I think ever since her return, it's just been a little bit watered down. But as far as Seth and Roman goes, I think this is going to be a cool match. Where will we? I don't know. Like this match right here, I really don't know. It's just like I'm more excited.
It's like a coin toss.
Yeah, it's really like a coin toss. I already know Roman Reigns is going to win. It's kind of like his redemption match. And Seth Rollins said, "Yo, I beat you at WrestleMania when I cashed in Money in the Bank. I beat you when I returned back from my injury and I won the WWE Championship. So you never beat me." So he pointed that out.
Roman's never beaten Seth Rollins before.
I believe he never beat him. He never beat him, and every chance that they fought and it was for the title, Seth always won. So I think this is right here where
these guys win. Yeah, these guys got a history, man, and they go way back, and their matches have always been great. Now speaking of, you mentioned Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, I think they should have never turned her heel. That's just my opinion. But there was one chick that you mentioned in your podcast yesterday, Charlotte Flair. Now, Charlotte Flair, I think she's overrated. That's just my opinion. She's overrated, and she didn't even take that twist of fate last week with with Lita. In your opinion, you've been watching her for a while. We've been watching her. Can you actually give me a title reign that she has had, and that we could say, okay, that title reign was off the hook?
No, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't though. I can't. But it's like it's no other, women. I mean, besides, Sasha Banks. But it seems though when and kudos to anybody who's dealing with stuff, man. Turn to someone, get some help or whatever. But it's like Sasha is kind of like she's there and she's not, and obviously Bayley is out right now, and Becky is just I haven't liked what she's done since she's returned, but nonetheless, Charlotte is the GOAT on in far as wrestling right now in WWE. Like you can put her in any storyline and it can elevate the next the person that she's in the ring with. And I said this on the podcast, I wish it was Bayley who came out when Lita was on SmackDown, because obviously that's a dream match. But yes, she took the twist of fate all crappy and stuff.
No, that was
but yeah, and now she's 12-time, 13 whatever time women's champion. But yeah, I think she's the best. She's the best wrestler, regardless of everybody hates her and stuff like that. So
you think she's better than Becky Lynch?
Yes, I do. I think Becky Lynch came, that moment where Nia Jax broke her nose, leading into that Survivor Series, that made her. That moment she was standing up there on the concourse with her arms out, bloody nose. Yeah, that was it, and
that was a badass.
That was badass. Even when they came to DC and I was there, and the whole Charlotte and Becky Lynch were going at it, and the man, like, it was awesome. And Ronda Rousey was there, like, but it just seems though ever since she came back, she haven't really been sort of the same. And I just think Charlotte is, in my opinion, a better athlete, in a way, but I think she's better than.
Have you as far as Bianca Belair, because I like Bianca. Bianca had a great match with Sasha Banks in WrestleMania, which I call it the woman match of the year for last year. Mm-hmm. Do you think Bianca Belair, are they gonna put that rocket launcher behind her again and become that woman's who, I mean, she was doing great last year. You think she's gonna get that momentum back, or because of what happened SummerSlam, she's done?
And I believe she's gonna get it back. I said this numerous of times. I don't think she should have, in the moment was right. I don't think she should have won the Royal Rumble last year. I don't think, everything should have went down. I don't think so. Really? I think that she should have won it this coming year and then had her moment, because it was like she just came from NXT. She was on Raw, but then she was on SmackDown, and they just thrust her into the situation. But everybody loved her because of what was going on in the world, as far as the Black community and everything. And I love Bianca Belair, I really do. I just didn't think that at that moment she should have, went on. But like I said, everything was just lining up, for her winning the Royal Rumble, from her appearance going off, for them showing the video, and from her main eventing WrestleMania Night 1 with Sasha Banks, like the women's match of the year. But and with the downfall, obviously, with the 20-something seconds, whatever how many seconds it was at SummerSlam, she haven't got really back up there. We seeing Doudrop taking on Becky at Royal Rumble. Will Bianca win the Royal Rumble again? I don't know, but I definitely see her getting back up there. I just think with the young talent, as soon as they get it, and as soon as they, get to, the top of, their division, is sometimes they come crashing down real fast.
Yeah, WWE doesn't take advantage of the female wrestlers that they have. I mean, right now Naomi is in Naomi, good talented girl, can wrestle, and they just have her on this stupid storyline with Sonya Deville, which I think she should be. I don't know how many times she's been SmackDown champion, but I think she should be. Matter of fact, she should be part of the bloodline. That's the way I look at it. And if you put her in that bloodline in there, you could have a great storyline with that, and you could further increase the brand as far as the bloodline is concerned. But if you look at it right now, and you may agree with this with me with this Royal Rumble, females Royal Rumble coming up, I think as of today, I think, or probably as of last week, they were still missing 11 females to join that, right? Right now, if you look at the Royal Rumble, I mean, because I know Charlotte's going to be in it. I think Becky Lynch is going to be in it. They're doing the same thing they did a couple of years with Brock Lesnar and whatever. My thing is, are they going to have, who is going to win the Rumble? There's no clear favorites in this year's Royal Rumble. Unless you're going to have the last two females will be Becky Lynch and Charlotte. And then you have those two go at it, a title versus title at Royal Rumble. Because there's no favorites. There's no favorite. There's nobody now that they have in a roster besides Bianca and maybe Bayley, because Bayley's scheduled to come back in March, and Sasha's supposed to be coming back in March. So are you gonna have those? Well, the Royal Rumble, they're not gonna be in it. So now you only got Bianca Belair as probably your favorite out of all that group. But are we gonna see somewhere where Charlotte and you're gonna have Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair, the last three girls, and something happens that they throw out Bianca Belair, and then these two are the last one, and something happens, and they'll do a show Bret Hart, Lex Luger type thing where both of them hit the ground. I'm taking it that far.
Okay. I hope not. I really hope not. They do that. I think, with WWE, they always fail on, and like you said earlier too, a lot of these female superstars are not ready, especially the young ones. They're not ready for that moment, and even when they get that moment, they still not ready. No. But I believe that it should be someone younger, and if the only other favorite, I guess, is like you said, is Bianca, but not to have. I don't know if Becky may insert her way in it though. I think that would just be a little bit extra weird now. Even though Charlotte said, "Yo, you know what? I'm gonna be in the Rumble. This is gonna be my headlining Rumble. Anybody could last or win. Then they take on whoever they want. But if I win, I get to choose who I'm going to take." Now, Becky already taking on Doudrop, so she come in. That'll just be a little bit weird, though. But other than that, I feel like Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Bayley, maybe Lita, Trish, or whatever like that are going to be like the last Final Four or something like that. It got to be Bayley, Lita, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan. Got to be. Them got to be like the last four because you got a veteran in the ring such as with Lita. And then, you got the other, and also sort of with Bayley. And then you got Bianca, who's last year's WrestleMania winner, Royal Rumble winner. And you got to upstart, with Liv Morgan, or they could add Aaliyah in, who just had, last week, the fastest win in WWE history.
We're not doing that. I got a better one for you. I got a better one for you. So the top four, right? We got Bianca Belair, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Mickie James.
Okay. See, I didn't think of that. I didn't think see, that would be nice though. In my opinion, though, I think, obviously, Mickie James is, I don't know if she's gonna appear on Raw the next night or on that Monday night or next week on SmackDown. But I think it should be, a superstar who's already there, who could be there week in and week out, a woman superstar who could eliminate the Knockouts Women's Champion and could brag about that. And that could be their thing, and then maybe down the line, if Mickie comes over again, she can have that match or whatever like that. If we're talking about a forbidden door, I think that would be, really cool, So
and I can make it even much. If WWE really wants to supposedly create this forbidden door, I will even go even farther to say have Mickie James win the Royal Rumble, right? Okay. And then you have a title versus title in WrestleMania.
Okay.
The winner, she chooses who she goes. I remember somewhere in I don't remember if it was Wrestle Talk or Fightful Select that said that Mickie James said she would love to wrestle Charlotte. So if she does, let's say Charlotte gets eliminated for whatever reason, because remember they always gotta have they're gonna have a pay-per-view in between. I think it's the Elimination Chamber, whatever. If they smart and they want to bring people to watch WrestleMania this year, I believe if they are smart and they think logic, you can have Mickie James, Knockouts champion, versus Charlotte. And if you want to decide to have Charlotte beat Mickie James, so you can have a little brag that you beat the Knockouts champion, then you could do that. I mean, it's not a bad idea because, like I said, because it's either two things. You can have that, or you could have a title versus title with unification match between Charlotte and Becky Lynch, and bring the storyline where they were supposed to do that switch, and Charlotte dropped the belt, whatever, and take that storyline and bring it all the way to now. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely, it makes sense.
But WWE don't think long-term booking, and that's the problem. So let's go. Let's talk a little bit of AEW. AEW right now, to me, I think they still ever since Sammy Guevara lost the belt, it seems like everything is slowing down. You got Hangman Page now as a champion. Today I was watching Dynamite, and now to me, I don't know why, but now Hangman looks like a hippie with that damn cowboy thing. Do you think it was smart on AEW's part to give Lance Archer the #1 contention spot to face Hangman Page? I don't know when they're facing each other. What do you think about it?
I think about it, it's something, different, because after the, war or whatever, Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson been through with Hangman Adam Page for the last 2 weeks, and they just went like an hour draw. So I feel as though, DB was going to take some time off after this, and who would be, to step up just to, have Hangman Adam Page go against. Lance Archer is someone that's left field, way out of left field. I wasn't thinking of. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, it wouldn't be necessarily my pick though, but
I think they should have picked Miro. Miro hasn't been on TV in a while, because I think what they now that me and you was just saying that, it crossed my mind that Lance Archer was part of that #1 contention spot for the AEW title shot that they had, that tournament, and that's where he got hurt. He got the concussion from Eddie Kingston when he was wrestling. So maybe that's why they brought him in. I mean, I think that my favorite storyline right now is the MJF and Warlow and the CM Punk joint. What do you think?
I love that. I love it though. I mean, besides the whole WWE reference though, I definitely dig it, especially Warlow though. Warlow is now the new factor in the storyline now because he's breaking out. He's becoming his own now. You really don't need MJF. MJF, like, I'm gonna dock your pay and XYZ, and like, what you doing this to me for? Like, I remember one Dynamite, it was, some time ago, maybe obviously last year, where Warlow, I believe he was, in the defense for MJF, and MJF just went on him and slapped him. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm right there, I'm your man, and you really slapping me, and I'm like, oh no, like, so like, I'm really waiting for Warlow to really, give MJF the business though. But it's gonna be really fun to see though. And CM Punk though, see what's next really for him though, and I feel as though they're gonna really dig into something deep with CM Punk. It's obviously taking a little bit too long though, but I think they're gonna get there.
I think MJF's gonna give him the first loss. That's my opinion on that. And I think as far as this whole MJF and Warlow thing reminds me of the Four Horsemen back in the days. Because if you think about it, the Pinnacle right now has not been success as a group. I mean, especially what I saw this week where CM Punk beat Sean Spear in 10 seconds. I think they buried him again.
Yeah, they did. I blinked. I literally blinked. I turned my head, turned back around. I was like, what happened? What happened? And I couldn't rewind it at that moment. So I was like, okay, cool. I just watch it whenever it comes back on or whatever. But,
and I said to myself, who came up with this? And a lot of people were like, oh, how can they do that to him? Because he did a great promo on Rampage the week before. So I'm like, you give a good promo, you make Warlow still feel like, he's a rookie, whatever. So you're setting up, and then next thing you know, less than 10 seconds, he gets GTS. I didn't understand that. So that's a good storyline. I don't watch NWA, so NWA right now, I know Matt Cardona is pretty much right now like the focus point on there. So I know he's up for Trevor Murdoch. I don't know if you watch NWA.
Yeah, Yeah, I actually, been getting back into right before the pandemic. I was, for some reason, I was just like, no wrestling was on, and that was like the only wrestling that was on, because obviously, it was pre-tape. That, and I believe Impact was still running at the time. And I was like, man, NWA, obviously, it's low budget, no interest theme, it's real old school. I dig
Yeah.
it. I love the storytelling that they tell, but a lot of those guys at that period of time, like a Eli Drake and Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston, they all went to AEW or whatnot. So now you got guys there, like you just mentioned, Matt Cardona. I really like what he's doing. He's kind of like, if this is kind of like his moment, or this period of his career, is if we could call it all grown
His
up.
break,
Like,
it's his breakout. It's his breakout.
Yeah,
The guy,
yeah.
ever since he won the Game Changer Wrestling title from Nick Cage, which I think that what made him last year, because Impact wasn't using him correctly. I remember he came in 2020 also with AEW, but he wasn't signed. He came in as Cody Rhodes' friend, whatever. But I think his breakout moment was that Game Changer Wrestling match that he had with Nick Cage. His body was destroyed. I saw that match. And now he's even getting bigger now because he just won the ECW TV belt last week, and they threw it in the trash the following night. So I think Cardona, everybody talk about comeback wrestler of the year. They said CM Punk. I think Cardona was the comeback wrestler of the year last year, because this is a guy that WWE didn't utilize the way they were supposed to. And, I still remember when he won the Intercontinental belt, and then the next time he loses the belt, I'm like, wow, what a way to buzzkill a guy who's been with you for a while. But I think Cardona, now the fact that he showed up, I think it was the last pay-per-view NWA attacked Trevor Murdoch. I mean, that gives some type of recognition. The guy's everywhere now.
Yeah, he's really everywhere though. Like, I mean, CM Punk, he's more of the surprise return of the year. Matt Cardona is just like, man, I'm all grown up. I got my girlfriend with me. She's hot. I'm taking a GCW title to Disneyland, or like I'm doing everything. I'm everywhere. You feel me? He's an Impact, and like you said, like I love it. And then I think something I seen him do where he talked about how he was in WWE, and he wanted to wrestle more, and he emailed Paul Heyman 2 days later. He was fired. Fuck Paul Heyman. Everything he's doing is amazing. I don't ever see him coming back to WWE. I don't advise it.
Not after that promo.
Yeah, I know, right?
After that promo. but it's good. But it's good because I mean, to me, the fact that a lot of these wrestlers are throwing like pot shots at WWE, you should just leave that behind. Now you're out here. I mean, you made a discussion yesterday about sports entertainment and pro wrestling yesterday, and I get what you're saying. Everything is entertainment. You know what I'm saying? What the difference is, sports entertainment as far as WWE, they're more into the back scene stuff that happens, and the funny comedy stuff, comedy skits or whatever. And the pro wrestling scene is more like, okay, professional wrestling, that's it, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel when wrestlers start throwing pot shots at WWE, listen, you left, leave that behind. Like, that's not even necessary no more. Like, what you getting by taking shots at WWE? I mean, WWE does it too, but I think other companies do it more. And my thing is, well, what's the purpose of it? I mean, and you made sense yesterday with the sports entertainment part.
Yeah, I think with that whole thing is just using WWE elsewhere, especially when you're not in WWE. It's just to get some buzz, especially when you're a former WWE superstar and you were mistreated, and you just like, yo, man, I'm gonna throw it around, and then I got some buzz now because people likes to hear other wrestlers talk bad about WWE.
And
okay, cool.
That's like the new trend now. It's like it doesn't make any sense. Looking right now, AEW is about to there's people's contracts are about to expire, right? And a lot of them were the guys like the Peter Avalons, the librarian chick, and the Joey Janela's. I know one guy that I'm very surprised that I read online today that he's a free agent is Leo Rush. In the Leo Rush situation, how crazy is that? That I know Big Swole, did this whole there's no diversity, all this bullshit that she was saying and whatnot. I mean, and both parties were wrong at that time, but the fact that Leo Rush came to her defense and then demanded, the word I'm gonna say is demanded that Tony Khan, apologize, and then next thing you know, you don't see him on TV no more. I believe he probably got suspended. That's the way I see it, because now I don't know if you saw Dynamite 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden now Dante Martin, you got Jay Lethal helping him instead of Leo Rush, and he was teaming up with Leo Rush. So I think he got suspended. And today, I know I read online that his contract expired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
you're right about that. Once I saw that, I was like, wow, because you're right. He was with Dante Martin, and now Jay Lethal's in the mix and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a little rocky up there what they doing with
I think
AEW and stuff.
There's a lot of people going to get let go. I think Brian Cage is one guy that.
Wow, I forgot about
that. Brian Cage, I think this is the most dumbest move. And I'm a big AEW fan, and I tell people on my platform, I don't care if AEW is my favorite. If they do something wrong, I'm gonna point it out. They missed, I believe, a match that would have made them money, and that was the Kenny Omega versus Brian Cage, because Brian Cage called himself the Machine. Kenny Omega called himself the Big Bout Machine. That would have been a fantasy booking, or not even fantasy, a great match. If they did the Daniel Bryan against Kenny Omega, why not put that match? Don't you agree?
I mean, Brian Cage still got to grow on me a little bit. You know, I'm a fan of AEW. It's just something about him. It's just not connecting with me. I know a lot of people I talk to, big fan of him, really big fan of him. His physique, the way he stand out, we come across on TV. Yes, great though. But you know, when I hear him talking, and I'm like, really? Like, he has no he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that connection. He can't make me connect exactly with him. And I understand. You know, I think it was last year or the year before last when he won the Double or Nothing Casino Battle Royal and stuff like that. He had that big old matchup. You know, I thought it was gonna go somewhere, but he's still growing on me, and I'm surprised that you mentioned him, because I actually forgot about him. And obviously he was with Team Taz until him and Ricky Starks had some type of beef. And
he beat Cage for the belt, for the FTW belt. But I think they missed out. I mean, I like Brian Cage. I've been following Brian Cage since Lucha Underground. He was the Impact champion. He had a great match with oh my God, who's that guy that just came to my head? But anyway, and to me, I still think that number one, you put him with Taz, right? You put him with a belt, FTW belt, that you weren't planning to even acknowledge as a title that you're gonna make it big. And then he's walking around with this title. He really doesn't defend it. He could wrestle. I like his whole impacting, and I think it's the promo. And in this day and age, a lot of wrestling fans, they're big on promos. So if you can't connect with a promo, then Taz should have done that. You know what I'm saying? And Taz wasn't doing that. And Taz wasn't doing that.
From what I see in the ring, he's good. From what I see in the ring, he's good. It's just, connecting, with me. He's like a meathead to me. He's real strong. He's athletic, everything. Love his finish and all that. It's just that when he's talking, it's just, okay, why Taz can't do that? That's his man. Let him do that.
Exactly. I think AEW still has a lot of problems. I think they oversaturated with a lot of wrestlers. They got, I don't know how many wrestlers. And I think they need a third hour. That's just me. Another third hour or another hour. I think not even a third hour. Put Rampage 2 hours. Move it from 10 to 9. So now you're able to display these guys on Dynamite, what were you going to use, and then on Rampage use the other set of talent that you got. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to do that Monday Nitro and Thunder back then. They used the guys, the low level, or not the low level, but mid-card guys on Thunder.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. I remember when Raw became 3 hours, and when it first came 3 hours. Big fan. I was always, man, I was bigger fan than Raw than SmackDown. So when it was 2 hours, I was like, man, this ain't enough, man. I'm a big fan. Came 3 hours, I was onto it, and everybody crapped on it, blah, blah, blah. I really, I saw WCW, really wasn't a big fan, and I remember everybody talked about how Nitro had 3 hours. I think with AEW, since they got AEW Dark and they got AEW Elevation, they don't utilize what goes on them shows on Dynamite nor Rampage. And I think Rampage is just at a horrible time slot. You feel me? They were just here in DC. They were in DC this past week, and Rampage comes on at 10, especially when they here on the East Coast, that's 10 o'clock at night, right after SmackDown. Now, if SmackDown was horrible, some people might not want to watch, another hour of wrestling. But,
That's true.
If you're a fan of the separate brand, then, hey, that's kudos to you. But, I think it's just a horrible time to sit up and just, if you just that AEW fan, it's like, oh, man, wrestling don't come on to 10. Okay, cool. But I just think more of the stories that goes on Dark, which I think is a great show, and Elevation should be displayed, especially like the storyline between Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss, that old stuff they were doing. Fabulous storyline. Why I couldn't get it featured on Dynamite or Rampage. So I just feel as though
that is true. That is true. That's one thing I remember seeing clips of it. And they never put it on Dynamite. So it's like...
Yeah, they never do. They just run a ticker at the bottom of the screen, who won and stuff like that. So they never just was like, hey, they may show something. I remember the new kid, I can't think of his name. He was a former talent in NXT. And they showed something on Dynamite and was like, oh, yeah, he made his, debut on Elevation this past Monday. And I was like, and that was really it. But he had a match with Adam Cole that Friday or whatever. But
you're talking about... Oh, you're talking about Atlas.
Yes.
Yeah, but Atlas right now, he had that match with Adam Cole last week, and he got hurt. He's hurt. He got a leg injury or something like that. But but they keep. My thing is that you keep signing all this talent. Right now, you still got Bray Wyatt out there. He did another video. And it looks like Eric Beard and Braun Strowman, who's now Titan, is going to join them. So now where are they going? Are they going to Impact? Are they going to... I know they're not going to MLW. Even though MLW is pretty good. I love MLW. So are they coming to AEW? So if you are coming to AEW, so you got already House of Black. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to join them together? Which I think Pac might join House of Black. I mean, he fits perfectly with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you bring these guys in, are they going to be the ones going to take over Dark Order? Because Dark Order right now, that phase of the Brody Lee dying is that thing is over with. It's like that. You know how they were real popular when Brody Lee died. Now it's just fading out. I mean, that's my take on it. I mean, I don't know how you think.
Yeah, I agree. I believe it's fading out. I just don't. I didn't see or don't see them really touching Dark Order right now because of the whole Brody Lee, and maybe it's still fresh with them and stuff like that. And I don't really know. I just but the whole Bray Wyatt and the Strowman thing, I think AEW is going to become oversaturated with a whole lot of former WWE guys. If these guys went somewhere else and split out, you've seen some in NWA, maybe seen some, like you got Matt Cardona, he's in, NWA. You got a former Chris Mack. I mean, obviously these are some old former WWE guys, but Impact. I don't know, but obviously the big company right now besides WWE, so obviously AEW. So I don't know. I just think a lot of guys are former WWE guys are becoming oversaturated there. It's no really too much room. I think they need to work on their women's division more than anything,
Yes. But they brought in Mercedes Martinez. I think I know Kushida, she went back to Japan, so I think they're probably going to repackage her, come back and get even with Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb is the truth. That's they call her the female version of Bret Hart because she's that good. We'll see what
Big
happens.
fan of Thunder Rosa also.
Yes. Because I just saw right now. Last Friday, I saw House of Glory that's up here in New York. They had a tournament where they had Mercedes Martinez, they had Diana Purrazzo in it, Jordan Grace. They had, oh my God, what's her name? Natalie Markova. She won the belt tournament and all that stuff. There's a lot of females out there that I think AEW could use, but I don't know. They still pushing all these people that they put on Dark and Elevation, and they keep bringing people in. And they're oversaturated, so we'll see. Anyway, guys, that is it for me, guy. Thank you for coming in, man. You want to plug your social media and where they can find you?
Sure. Yeah, you guys can find me on Facebook, at the 1130 podcast, on Twitter at the 1130 podcast, and also you can find me on Instagram. For everybody, I got hacked last year at the end of the year, some crazy bull crap. So at the 1130 podcast _ anybody else, any of the 1130 podcast, please block them and kick them out for real. But you can find me also on YouTube. Subscribe to the 1130 podcast. All new episodes each and every Wednesday on EB Radio and YouTube, and every Friday with Talk Pro Wrestling, the wrestling podcast. And other than that, man, I appreciate you having me on. This was awesome. Henry, man, I also wish I can return the favor, have you on Talk Pro Wrestling in the future. But other than that, man, I appreciate it. I'm blessed. I thank you for having me on, man. This was
no problem.
A great
brother.
time.
Yeah, no problem, man. You know, there's not a lot of people out there that I could say, yo, I could sit down and we could talk wrestling, whether we disagree or agree, because everybody takes everything serious nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's just wrestling. You know what I'm saying? So that is it for me, guys. Check out the Chokeslam Wrestling Report at, you know, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also my YouTube channel. Check that out. Hit that subscribe button and hit my man up. 1130 Podcast. His show is pretty good. Subscribe to his channel, and you know what I'm saying. And again, I'll see you guys very soon.